Ajayante Randam Moshanam, more popularly known as ARM 3D, is a Malayalam language period action drama directed by Jitin Lal and written by Sujit Nambiar and Deepu Pradeep. By now, everyone's watched this film because obviously this is the most entertaining of all the Onam releases, and it makes sense to bring the whole family to watch this in cinemas. Shout out to Kishkinda Kandam though, which is the most brilliant of them all. Sadly, I couldn't see it yet because the showtimes in the UK were not feasible for me. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm in the UK now. More on that soon. ARM 3D is a pretty solid entertainer. And to be honest, I wasn't really convinced to watch this in cinemas when I saw the trailers. Until it said exclusively in 3D. I'm not gonna lie, 3D is a format that I keep very close to my heart, which is why I went to watch this film in 3D in the first place. Hence, this video is just gonna be me talking about the 3D than the actual film, and this is how it's gonna be in my future videos about films, specifically 3D films. Now, 3D is mostly a fan favorite format, especially here in India, with myself being one of the hardcore fans, but it's not favored by some people. Some say it's unnecessary, it's another way to procure extra money from the consumers, and there are complaints about the 3D projection in some theaters, where the image could be more dimmer than a 2D screening. But the ultimate fact is, when 3D is executed really well, it serves as a consequential tool for storytelling. And for me, it makes the film more immersive. And what I mean by that is that it's more immersive than something like expanded aspect ratios. IMAX. Another main reason behind why I'm going to be focusing specifically on the 3D aspect is because it is one of the major advertising points of this film. This is a 3D conversion and not a natively shot 3D production. And the 3D conversion is done by Race 3D. Apparently it said that this is the first Malayalam film to be converted to 3D, and this is where I gotta say that it's not true. It is actually Puli Murugan from 2016, which was re-released in 3D in 2017, and that was also a conversion by Race 3D. So how is the 3D in this film? Is it worth all the hype and advertising that went into it? Well, the 3D is a mixed bag in this film. I will say that the film is not exactly composed for a satisfying 3D experience most of the time, although there are plenty of shots that were meant to be experienced in 3D. But the conversion by Race 3D doesn't deliver in that regard. Moreover, because this is the first proper Malayalam film since Puli Murugan to be released in 3D, there have been some mishaps at the last minute before the film's release, such as the lackadaisical distribution of 3D DCPs. There were 3 different versions of the 3D DCP during the release, and it had to be changed every time there was a mistake. So on the opening day, at least just for the morning shows, the film was played in 2D instead of 3D. I do hope that this is a lesson to learn from and a mistake to never repeat for the distributors and producers and the people behind this. The film opens with a CG animation that looked ripe for the 3D experience, but it was mostly just flat. I was wondering whether the image was truly in 3D or not. Yes, there were double images which pretty much confirmed that the 3D version was indeed playing, but the depth and separation were just too shallow to exhibit a 3-dimensional space. It almost felt like the conversion was done using AI, and it might have been done using AI. There was a credit for an AI lead or AI head or something in the end credits. I'm happy to be proven wrong if that isn't the case, but come on Race 3D, why you gotta do this? Seriously, the increasing use of AI in any aspect of film production is alarming as hell. Thankfully, as the film progresses, you see the VFX and CGI made specifically for the 3D experience, such as splinters of wood from an explosion, fire residue from a burning torch, water droplets, weapons, and fireflies coming straight at the camera. It is only during the VFX heavy shots where the 3D really comes to life. Race 3D is also one of the companies that worked on the VFX, so they might have rendered the VFX in stereo 3D, which is why those particular shots really shone in 3D. However, some shots had some severe conversion errors, some of them being more prevalent in the action sequences in the forest at night, and one shot was extremely dark in 3D when I imagine it was supposed to be more brighter to actually see what's going on. Now this is my first time seeing a Race 3D conversion in action, and prior to watching this I've heard negative reactions toward the 3D conversions from Race 3D. Sadly, now I know how Race 3D conversions look like, and it's disappointing considering how they've been in the game for a long time. Maybe this conversion is a result of low budget, but this should be a wake-up call for Race 3D to get better at delivering proper 3D conversions, because this is not it. Even then, I will recommend everyone to watch ARM in 3D because it's still better than watching a flat image. At least the VFX and CGI look awesome in 3D. And please, get good Race 3D. As a huge fan of stereo 3D, I request you humbly. So now that ARM 3D is the first Malayalam film to be converted and released in 3D since Puli Murugan, how does the 3D format really strive in the Malayalam film industry? After all, the first Indian 3D film is from Kerala, that is Maidiya Kutti Chatan by Jijo Punnus in 1984. That was natively shot in 3D using Stereovision 3D. Following that were some other Malayalam 3D productions, but after that there weren't any signs of the 3D format. But now native 3D is making its comeback, as Mohanlal's debut directorial Barrows is completely shot in 3D using a native 3D rig. It is obvious that a natively shot 3D film is far better than a conversion. Although there are cases where conversions can be better than native 3D, but that ultimately boils down to how the format is utilized during production. Shooting in 3D requires a lot of planning for its effectiveness, and anything haphazard or hurriedly done or just for the sake of it wouldn't do justice. Similarly, conversions require a lot of time, as it is an extensive process. While nowadays, conversions are done in a couple of months, and when configured properly, even AI can be used in the conversion process, which I totally oppose, and that ultimately decides the overall quality of the product. Therefore, I do hope that 3D is effectively used in the future, and it's not done just for the sake of it. With that being said, I'm very much looking forward to watching Barrows in 3D, although that depends on the number of show times in the UK. Jeez, I miss India already. What do you think of AR in 3D? Or 3D in general? Will you be checking out Barrows 3D in cinemas? Do let me know in the comments below. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, take care and have a great day. Goodbye.